Grandpa passed away, instructing me to seek refuge with my fiancé in the city. The man who came to pick me up had clear-cut brows and eyes. He looked about my age. I'm 21. Our grandfathers arranged the betrothal when we were babies. We can start with dating or jump straight to marriage. I'm fine either way. From farther off, a tall man in a tailored suit strode over. Long-legged, radiating intimidation. His face was as dark as the bottom of a wok. What's this? You don't think much of me? For half a year after Grandpa died, I had wallowed in grief. The weather refused to cooperate. 2 straight weeks of rain washed away half the roof of the old house Grandpa left behind. No one could live in it anymore. I remembered what he whispered before the end. Meiying, I can't bear to leave you all alone. Old Caldwell owes me his life. To repay me, he swore we'd tie our families through marriage. Go to Riverdale. Find Grandpa. He has a grandson. Marry him and you'll have someone to lean on. I was an abandoned infant. Grandpa found me on a trash heap and raised me. When he died, I felt forgotten in a dusty corner, lost and helpless. I stood amid the roaring bustle of the station, not knowing where to turn. Grandpa's number rang and rang. No one picked up. I wandered for an hour and tried again. This time a deep baritone answered, a young man's voice. Someone Grandpa's age couldn't sound that young. I didn't think twice. I sobbed, Grandpa, come get me. I'm scared. Wah, silence. Then, who is this? I explained that I was looking for Grandpa. Stay put. I'll come. The voice was calm, unquestionable. It was my first time leaving the countryside. I barely knew where I was. Impatience crackled. You can't even tell north from south? Different from the calm greeting. This was spoken through clenched teeth. My vagueness had used up his last scrap of patience. So fierce I felt it through the phone, bursting into tears. I accused him of yelling for no reason. He gave in, muttered, don't cry, and handed the phone to another man who soothed me, told me to add the number on WhatsApp so we could share locations, and asked what I was wearing. Gray hoodie, black jeans, bright yellow suitcase. Half an hour later, someone tapped my shoulder. Meiying, finally found you. I looked up. Tall and slim, fair-skinned, refined features, about my age. I'm Austin, he said, then waved toward the crowd. Another man approached, suit immaculate, stride unhurried, manner so cold people instinctively shied away. Up close his features were chiseled, brows sharp, lips pressed thin. He stopped and gave me a distant once-over, raised to be polite. I mustered a shaky smile. Hello, sir. The busy atmosphere froze for a second. The man raised an eyebrow and inspected me from head to toe. Outside the station, Austin loaded my suitcase into the trunk. Just as he finished, I saw the suited man open the passenger door. Forgetting the earlier awkwardness, I stepped up, smiled and said thanks, and confidently climbed into the front seat. He seemed startled. In the car, I gathered my courage and spoke earnestly. Austin, you know about our grandfather's agreement. I'm 21, no boyfriend. If you're single too, dating first or marriage first suits me fine. Austin's hands slipped on the steering wheel. He corrected, glanced in the rear view mirror, and stammered half sentences that wouldn't complete. We reached ocean. Outside, sky and sea blurred together, gulls skimming the waves. First glimpse of the ocean, I pounded the door yelling for him to stop. I kicked off my shoes, sprinted across the sand, dodging foam like a child. When I tired, I turned. The suited man stood watching. Maybe a trick of the noon light, but the chill around him seemed to have melted. A faint smile played on his lips. I looked around. Sir, where'd Austin go? His eyes narrowed. He's Austin. I'm sir. Do I look that old? Grandpa said sweet talk wins hearts. I gave a sheepish grin. You look solid and reliable. Calling you a sir shows respect. And even if you are a sir, you're a rare good-looking one. Earnest flattery, yet it didn't please him. Slow, clipped words and my grandfather is Gushan. I'm the one engaged to you. Then Austin, my assistant. The words were icy. The coastal sun couldn't thaw the chill that rose from my soles. Ha! Ha! Misunderstanding. My mistake. A crucial question popped up. Sir, how old are you? 7 years older, 29. I blinked. 29 minus 21 is, sir. Did your math teacher teach P.E.? I fell silent. Impatient. He prodded. So, what do you think? I blinked again. He practically hissed, our marriage. What's your answer? So fierce I nearly cried. Grandpa said if I don't like the match we can cancel it. He closed in, anger glinting. So I'm not good enough for you? Great. I'd infuriated him. I shrank back. He quickly cooled and asked my plans. Plans. Stay in the city. Find a job. Save money. Go home and repair Grandpa's house. To stay you'll need a place. Rent runs $2,000 a month. he said casually. But, he drawled, I own an apartment. Marry me on paper. Live rent-free. Where else could I find such a bargain? I caved on the spot. Marriage certificate in hand. He drove me to an apartment and left. Deep into the night, I dialed him a dozen times. He arrived in jeans and a t-shirt, smelling of fresh shower gel. Seeing my swollen eyes, he softened. What's wrong? A strange city. An empty flat. A long night alone. Grievances tumbled out. I'm scared. He flared up instantly. Don't cry, swallow it. Fine, I'll swallow. I bit my lip, but tears streaked down anyway. He inhaled, rubbed his temples. Stop calling me sir. Don't call him sir. No need to bark. Problems needed solving. I clutched his sleeve, made myself small. Big brother, stay with me, please. He agreed. I happily gathered pajamas and showered. When I emerged, he has a nice name, Garrison. He sat watching fishing on TV. Grandpa loved shows like this, I blurted. See, definitely an old man show. Fresh from the shower, my hair dripped. A hairdryer lay on the side table by the sofa. I spread a dry towel across his lap, lay down with my head on it. Your right hand. Blow dry my hair, please. He looked thunderstruck, then slowly dried my hair. Warm hum, fast asleep. Turning over, I rolled off the sofa, rubbed my bruised behind, groped my way to the bedroom. Half asleep, a hand seemed to pinch my waist. I jolted awake and kicked hard. Success, the CAD thudded to the floor. I helped Garrison to the hospital. Doctor said a coccyx fracture. Not serious, rest at home. Then, eyeing us, he added, young folks, keep it modest. You don't want lifelong regrets. Back home Garrison's face was terrifying. I kept my distance. After an age he beckoned. Come here. I obeyed. Support me. Bathroom. Afraid he'd fall. I didn't leave. He raised an eyebrow, staying to watch. No way. I waved my hands. Vowed. Eyes shut. I won't peek. Utterly fed up, he roughly shoved me out. Considerate as ever. I stationed myself outside the frosted door. I'm right here. Call if you need me. No amount of consideration earned me a kind look. The man stalked out with a face dark as thunder. I ignored the scowl and blinked in curiosity. Men, all have voices, don't they? How come you don't? For the next 2 weeks the man worked from the apartment. He ordered me around like a little servant girl. He seemed buried in work, video conferences, and Austin kept delivering thick folders. I finally asked what he actually did. Manager at a company, he said. Austin's my assistant. Humph. Sounded impressive. Then he added, small company. After the mortgage and the car loan there's nothing left. I mumbled. Gloomy. Grandpa said if I didn't like the Caldwell grandson I could take a check big enough to keep me fed and walk away. Years ago my grandpa had saved Grandpa's life. Grandpa had wanted to give mine a fat thank you envelope. My grandpa waved it off. No big deal. The price he paid, a crooked leg that throbbed so badly on rainy days he couldn't get out of bed. When I was little, Grandpa learned about the injury and insisted on leaving an IOU. Marrying into the family looked impossible, he admitted, but if the country girl ever hit hard times she could cash the note, money, goods, whatever she needed. The Caldwell family would supply. I barely remembered Grandpa, and when mine lay dying he never handed me the note. In the end Grandpa never wanted the money, and the scrap of paper vanished. On his sickbed he drifted. One moment insisting I had a marriage pact, the next telling me to go throw myself on Grandpa's mercy. Garrison was reading a file. Hearing this, he lifted his gaze. The desk lamp carved the planes of his face, sharp nose, thin lips. Below those long lashes his eyes were bottomless, emotion churning in their depths. The man was handsome. While I stared he said, so, since I'm broke, all I can offer is the marriage on paper. I'd come to the big city to land a job, pile up cash, and fix the farmhouse Grandpa left me. Once he healed and went back to the office, I hunted for work near the apartment. The day I got hired I crowed to Garrison. $4,800 a month, that's $57,600 a year. $172,800 in 3 years. Just 3 years. 15 grand in the bank. And I can patch the roof and go home. Garrison's voice dropped. The minute you've got money you'll head back to the sticks, alone? By now I knew that tone, calm before the storm. He was mad. I blinked, clueless. Yeah. He studied me, rubbed his temples, and when he looked again pity filled his eyes. I learned fast what the pity meant. Food and toiletries swallowed 3/4 of the paycheck. Worse, the cash was gone. I couldn't even scare up tomorrow's lunch money. I had to borrow from Garrison. After work I stayed up, waiting by the door. When it opened I thrust slippers at him and brushed imaginary dust from his jacket. My gaze snagged. He stood there in a razor-sharp suit, shoulders broad, waist narrow, mile-long legs, straight off a magazine cover, serious his money. Mister, that outfit must have cost a fortune. He hated when I called him Mister, but the habit stuck. He let it slide. The first time we met he'd been dressed just like this. I'd figured city folk always looked ready for a gala. Now that I'd worked at Riverside a while, I realized nobody wore anything this formal, more like TV drama gala attire. Street stall special. For show. A manager needs one decent look. What's up? He said, walking in. Remembering my mission, and my thin skin, I stammered. I was wondering. Spit it out. Do you need any services? I can help. Straight up asking for cash felt mortifying. I could fetch tea, run errands. Austin did that. Right. His tall frame halted mid-stride. I plowed into the solid, warm wall of his chest. The scent of him, clean, warm, closed around me. I had to fight the urge to lean closer. I met ink-black eyes. What kind of service? His voice was low, rough, held in. His intensity rattled me. Anything you want. You just have to lend me grocery money. He studied me. I tried to look calm and batted my lashes. Finally, he surrendered. Bring me a glass of water. I parked myself beside him and kneaded his shoulders. When Grandpa was alive, I used to rub his shoulders. He said I had good strong hands. Garrison flinched away from my fingers. Out with it, mister. Have mercy. Spot me some cash. I'm out of food money tomorrow. Don't you make 4,800? 40 years of that is over 2 million. His eyes laughed at me. Fine. I confess, this mouth eats half my pay. A mouth eating half. I hear pigs cost about 500 a month to feed. Control yourself. I out-eat a pig. White dollars disappearing down my gullet. Heartbreaking. Fixing the farmhouse would take longer. I caught him hiding a grin and snapped. Right. I eat more than a pig. Loan me money for dinner. Scary beggar. Fine. Cook me noodles. I'm starving. I blinked. Aren't you fresh from some company dinner? You didn't eat? His fingers froze over the door code. No noodles. No deal. I couldn't let dinner money evaporate, so I hustled to the kitchen. The noodles were on the top shelf. Weird. Who stores noodles way up there? I strained on tiptoe. A blur. Suddenly the package was within reach, and warm hands circled my waist through thin cloth as he hoisted me up. Got it? He asked. Fry 2 eggs, he ordered on his way out. I set the bowl in front of him. He eyed the first fried egg. Edible? My ears burned. Blame that lift. I'd zoned out while frying. The egg was charcoal at the edges. I snatched it and stuffed it into my own mouth. Before I swallowed, he speared the second egg. This one's burnt too. I tried to steal it back. Too slow. He crunched it with theatrical relish. He slurped a noodle, shoved the bowl away. I tasted. Ugh. 2 heaping spoons of sugar. Garrison the cheapskate handed me 5 crisp hundreds. 5 it is. I'll just eat less. I wait tables at Riverside. 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. 4-hour lunch break. Every noon. Just as I walk in, the doorbell rings. A delivery guy hands me a thermos box of takeout. Nights he brings dinner home. If he works late, the moment I sit down, takeout arrives. Day after day, then another 500 appears. That evening I confronted him. From now on you handle every chore. Dishes. Floors. Not a speck of dust. He added, we'll save. Catch a movie. Hit the mall. Ride the Ferris at the amusement park. Bottom line, plenty of fun. Stop dreaming of the village. Hope bubbled. I poured him hot water and counted 8, 9, 10 goji berries. I soon learned the man could draw castles in the air. On my day off I dragged him to a movie. He fell asleep. Humph. All the fun in the world can't beat chasing cats and dogs back home. I sulked for days. Ignored him. He stayed busy. After my shift I stepped out of Riverside. Austin pulled me into a van. Inside he explained. Boss is trapped at a gala. Trouble. Blame his face. Lydia refuses to believe he's married. Stella. Show up. Tell her you're Garrison's wife. Get her off his back. They sat me down. Did my hair. My makeup. I peered in the mirror. Did you hire an Undertaker's artist? Austin gave a low chuckle. It's a private makeup session, so don't be picky. The budget the boss gave me was practically air. Here we are. There's your gown. Pull the privacy screen. You're safe in the car. He delivered me to the hotel. Pointed out where the older man was waiting. I couldn't catch his expression. An emotion I couldn't name pushed me forward until I was right beside him. I looped my arm through his like we'd done it forever. Austin had warned me. The boss had caught the eye of Lydia, the Ling family's golden heiress. She wanted a live-in son-in-law. Garrison didn't want that, but a blunt refusal would cause trouble. So my job tonight was simple. Let Lydia know the man was taken. Lydia flicked one arched brow at me and snorted. Garrison, you've used the married excuse 3 times already. If you're hiring an actress, at least make it convincing. I can recommend a better one if you're short. He laced our fingers together, voice gentle. This is my wife. Lydia wasn't buying a syllable. Someone of your stature drags his wife to a gala in an ill-fitting gown? I looked down. The dress wasn't that bad, just a tad loose at the waist. Then I glanced at Lydia's gown, sculpted to her like a second skin, clearly haute couture. Believe what you want. He turned to leave, tugging me with him. Lydia blocked our path. You think parading some random girl ends this? Garrison showed zero mercy. We filed the papers. A formal ceremony comes later. Ling, save the date. You'll get an invitation. Lydia's face cycled through every shade of fury. A waiter appeared with a silver tray and 2 crystal flutes. Ling, she swallowed her rage. Accepted 1 glass. When you had me thrown out, you didn't know who I was. The Caldwell and Ling groups have partnered for decades. If that bridge burns, good luck explaining it to your board. Drink, and consider it your apology. Garrison took the other flute. Crystal chimed. They downed the champagne in one go. Still hand in hand. He murmured, let's go. Outside the ballroom he noticed my thin dress, shrugged out of his tuxedo jacket, and draped it over my shoulders. It's cold. Keep it on. My cheeks felt weird, like the makeup had expired sometime last century. Hang on. I need to wash my face before we leave. While I was in the restroom, Garrison's head started swimming. The walls blurred. He braced a hand against the marble to stay upright. 2 hulking men in black suits strode up, hired bodyguards. Trouble on a leash. Without a word they flanked him, hooked his elbows, and marched him off. I shot out of the ladies' room just in time to see them disappear into an elevator. 3rd floor. I sprinted up the fire stairs. The pair were already muscling him toward a suite door. Hey, I shouted, charging. One threw a punch. I caught his arm, pivoted, and hip-tossed him down the corridor. His partner lashed out a boot. I trapped the leg, yanked downward, sudden split that would have made a gymnast proud. With no one holding him, Garrison pitched forward. His forehead cracked against the tile with a hollow thud. I slapped his cheeks. Hey, wake up, flushed and hoarse. He rasped, penthouse, there's a suite. The goons were already stirring. I hauled him into the elevator. At the top floor, I dragged him out and through the door. He bolted straight for the bathroom. Water thundered inside. Something was very wrong. I pounded. No answer. Panic 1. I shoulder-checked the door. Steam rolled out. Garrison stood beneath the rain shower. Clothes gone. Back to me. Forehead pressed against the tile. Shoulders broad. Waist carved. Every line of him steel underskin. Tapering to long, straight legs. Sweet mercy. Am I gonna go blind? I stammered. You okay? Without turning he growled, out, figuring he was drunk. I parked myself outside so he wouldn't drown. Eventually, the door swung open. He stepped out. I sprang up. Better? A grunt. He yanked a bottle from the mini fridge and chugged half the ice water. Relieved. I noticed his dripping hair. Grabbed a towel, reaching to blot it. He jerked away like I'd burned him. I've got it. Fine. Next time don't match Lydia shot for shot if you can't handle it. His look was unreadable. I'm fine. You should head home. Reassured. I glanced around. Bet this costs a fortune. I'd seen enough TV dramas. The place screamed presidential suite. Corporate long stay. We host VIP clients here. I nodded, yawning. Big beds making me sleepy. I slept like the dead. Morning. I found Garrison on the couch, head under a throw blanket. I peeled the cover back, knelt, chin on the cushion, watching him wake. I'm starving, I announced, eyes still closed. He fished for his phone. I'll call room service. Won't take long. Without looking at me, he disappeared into the bathroom. Breakfast arrived. Millet porridge, red bean buns, salad, fruit, a fried egg, small sides. While we ate I noticed something odd. He kept his gaze glued to his bowl like it contained the secrets of the universe. Interesting. Guilty conscience. Exactly who did you tick off last night? Don't tell me you owe so much. They were planning to harvest a kidney. I mean, you're already a mature guy. Are those kidneys even premium grade? Speaking of which, you're pretty pale back there. I bit my lip to keep from laughing. He finally looked up. Last night, you saw everything. Nope, only the back view. Front side is still a mystery. He leaned closer, enunciating each word. Want to inspect the front? Alarm bells rang, but my mouth stayed stubborn. Well, I've always wondered what it's like to go blind. Recklessness has a price. Back at the apartment I ached so badly I could only lie flat. A knock. I opened to a middle-aged couple. Garrison's parents. I threw myself into his mom's arms and bawled. They panicked, demanding to know what happened. When they heard their son had been rough, Mom's eyes flashed fire. She whipped out her phone and roared. Garrison showed up in record time. Mom grabbed the nearest spatula and whacked him. Still furious, she twisted his ear. Mom, easy. You'll yank it off. Dad grabbed the spatula and joined the double team. I was hustled back to the bedroom. Through the door drifted Mom's voice. Such a tender little thing. And you couldn't control yourself. How will you face your dead grandpa? At dinner I trembled. Chopsticks rattling. Mom shot Garrison a glare. He obediently took his plate and ate standing in the corner. That night she banished him to the sofa, no bedroom till further notice. I entered a life of royal pampering. Mornings they chauffeured me to work. Evenings they waited at Riverside with 2 armloads of my favorite snacks. They rejoiced when I stuffed my face, then worried I'd skip real meals. When I mentioned a movie, tickets were bought. Popcorn appeared on my left, water on my right. I called them Mom and Dad. They beamed like floodlights. Meanwhile, the immature son got scolded, ordered to wash dishes, mop floors. Past midnight, I crept to the bathroom and found Garrison folded on the couch, too tall to stretch out, blanket on the floor. In the dim light I traced his brows. The straight bridge of his nose lingered on the soft curve of his mouth. Before his parents arrived he'd told me, "We're married, so my parents are yours." When they actually showed up, a dam broke inside me. All the playful chaos and nameless fear ebbed away, replaced by one warm certainty. This messy, bright, impossible place was the home I'd been looking for all along. He woke, his eyes deep as the sea, watching me in silence. "Me, hold me, please." He laid me gently on the bed. Standing at the bedside, he brushed a kiss to my forehead. "Good girl, sleep early." When the words left his mouth, he turned to go. I caught his hand and rocked it lightly. "I had a nightmare. Sleep with your arms around me, okay?" The breath above my head was low and long, folded into his arms. I felt warm and safe. I tilted my face to look at him. His breathing stuttered, but he forced himself to stay calm. Lashes lowered. "Horse," he said. "Sleep." I stretched out a hand and, satisfied, felt the change in his body. "Helpless," he muttered. "You insist on torturing me." His mom saw Garrison step out of the room. She came straight up and twisted his ear. He didn't dodge, only begged, "Mom, Mom, gentler. That hurts." Sneaking around bullying Meiying the second, we look away, rotten kid. My face flamed scarlet. My voice was nearly inaudible. "Mom, I'm willing." She let go, shot him a fierce glare, then turned away and couldn't help laughing. Garrison, Chapter 01. The old folks gallivanting around on vacation are coming back soon. I told Austin to find me an apartment. I'm moving out of Caldwell. Austin struck without mercy. "Cousin, you're single. Finding a place is just wasted effort. Family rule. No one leaves Caldwell until married. Grandpa set that law. He wanted every Caldwell grandchild kept on a short leash, absolutely no fooling around. These past 2 years, though, retired Grayson has run out of patience with me still single at 30. He's launched every trick in the book. Non-stop matchmaking, plus the 2 of them flaunting their lovey-dovey act in front of me 24/7. I run Caldwell. Every day I shovel through a mountain of work until I practically cough up blood. Come home and I still have to endure the old couple's interrogation. So, meet any promising girls today? They never forget to coach me if you do. Don't be shy, just grab her in a hug. Maybe girls these days go for that. And the final, merciless stab, son. 30 and still unattached. Are you hopeless? Lower that bar. Any girl who likes you must be half blind. Latch on tight. I feel myself going insane. The old man dumped the whole mess on me and took off, leaving the empire for me to juggle while he and Mom travel the world stuffed with leisure. Then have the nerve to gripe that I haven't produced a grandkid for them to play with. Not like I haven't tried to move out. The last time I asked Austin to find a place, but Grayson and his wife aren't pushovers. At midnight they dragged Austin from under his quilt and grilled him for my new address. Austin's scrawny arm couldn't outmuscle theirs. He confessed. Next thing, the 2 of them rolled up to my freshly rented flat with a whole entourage. Austin came along. He watched the supposedly retired, still agile former chairman rip the blanket off me while his wife grabbed my ear. That night, me in nothing but printed boxers. Ear in captivity. I was hauled back to Caldwell. The troop they'd brought proved useful. By nightfall, all my stuff was reinstalled at the manor. Austin even snapped sneaky photos he whips out to mock me. Cousin, no wife in sight. Moving out. Dream on. Forget a wife. I don't even have a girlfriend. Too busy. Women barely register. Once, the Ling family's heiress stripped and stretched out on my hotel bed while I was on a trip. I wrapped her in the quilt and tossed her out. When Grayson heard, he hemmed and hawed. Son, an extra grandson to help with the family business wouldn't hurt. Just bring the girl home. Stella refused to drop it, spatula in hand, chasing Grayson and me around the house. The phone rang. The caller asked for Grandpa. I glanced, unknown number, and hung up. It rang again. This time the voice quavered with a sob. I remembered. Before Grandpa died he said someone from the Sioux family might come to claim an old favor. When we met, my blood pressure spiked. She called me uncle. In the car she told Austin dating or marrying was fine. I identified myself. She balked, whining I was too old. I swallowed it and offered, stay in the city, live with me, rent-free, provided we got married. Hearing rent-free, she didn't hesitate. For a second I felt sleazy. Am I some pervy middle-aged guy conning a kid? I took her to the small flat Austin located. Austin, used to mom yanking me back to the manor, had grabbed the first place near Caldwell he could find. Good. Let her think I'm broke. I forgot someone was home waiting. Back at Caldwell I soaked in the tub, thinking I could skip an early start. I stepped out, checked my phone, 13 missed calls. I opened the door to a tear-stained little face, eyes brimming like a deer's. My heart lurched. I gentled my voice. What's wrong, uncle? Heat shot up my veins. Wrong generation. Harder to make a move later. When she heard I'd stay with her, she scampered happily into the shower. The place was tiny, bathroom invisible, but far from soundproof. The noises drove me parched. I flicked on the TV for cover. It opened to a torrid kissing scene. I surfed until silence returned. Not a calculating bone in her body. She dropped her damp hair across my lap. Round neck pajamas slipping to show graceful collarbones. When Lydia had stripped on the bed I hadn't twitched. I doubted myself. Seems I just hadn't met the one. Strange warmth on my thigh. I blow-dried her hair in slow motion. She fell asleep. I cradled her head onto the sofa, then fled to the bedroom. That night at the gala I'd had a drink, tipsy. Back home she handed me slippers, took my jacket. Good girl. My heart lifted. Then she said words that sent me sky high. She'd finally remembered we had the red marriage certificate. We were husband and wife. Still unsure. I looked down. She gazed up. Eyes crystal clear. I surrendered. Sigh. I must keep waiting. Waiting for her to like me bit by bit. I phoned Grayson and exploded. I ordered him home. Now, to split the workload. I told him I'd met the girl I loved and we'd registered. I told him no romance, no grandson, deal with it. I couldn't forgive myself for dozing off in the movie theater. Riverdale was furious. Aowiwa. Lydia blocked me at Caldwell again. Austin advised, tell the stalker you're impotent, she'll vanish. I stared. If he weren't my cousin I'd suspect enemy sabotage. Word gets out and I'm finished in business. Lydia invited me to her party that night. Austin said, you've bluffed, married twice. Bring the real wife. Let sister-in-law show up. Problem solved. But I worry. Afraid Meiying will learn who I am. Afraid she'll want the money. Not me. Austin patted his chest. Leave everything to him. Fine. Another fat check for the brat. Lydia, unconvinced, thought I was faking. She spiked my drink. Meiying claimed she was strong. I didn't buy it. That night she took on 2 bodyguards. Now I believe. Burning. I bolted into the shower. Doused myself with cold water. She pushed the door and saw me. She didn't know I was hanging by a thread. I have my bottom line. I want her to fall for me inch by inch. Clenching my teeth, I told her to leave. She slept. Impossible for me. I pulled the throw blanket over my head. Clamped hands to ears, her soft breathing alone kept the heat alive. She woke, said she was hungry. At breakfast I avoided looking at her. For some reason she was bubbly. She said she'd seen the back view. How about the front? To hell with it. I'm boarding this train now.